Hey people. So today I wanted to touch on a certain subject, and that subject happens to be how 2018 may very well be the year that Ethereum takes a nice little spotlight jump. And by spotlight jump, I'm meaning we're going to see it has its own year. As Bitcoin last year showed a great display of going from under 1,000 to pretty much hitting near 20K, it has a huge growth, huge adoption rate, and got so many people into cryptos. Even someone like that Diamond dude, he was like, oh, it's a joke, only to retract his statement like a month and a half later to just now say, oh, it was a mistake, cryptos are real and stuff. And where this is going, it's not going to be dictated by any government or anyone in charge or anyone who's in charge of a bank in general or any monetary assets. This is coming from the people who really want to take a peer-to-peer approach of being able to be their own bank, to become their own security system, and to take matters in their own hands. Now, Bitcoin has always been a coin where it's trying to replace that wealth system without trying to replicate the wealth system, meaning that you are not able to make a duplicate, and the blockchain itself acts as a record so that none of that ever occurs. And with the peer-to-peer, everyone has their own chain that they can link up and see, just to make sure that there are no faux additions added to it. So Bitcoin introduced that, and that was coming back from 2011. Now let's go a few years later when Ethereum comes into play. Ethereum noticed that, yes, this blockchain technology could be great. So they wanted their goals to be implementing a way that people can run stuff on their network. This was a great approach in terms of being able to use the blockchain because it has put their foot in the door to be the first to offer what many of the tokens we're about to talk about comes into play, comes into development, and in this year comes into tangible practical applications. Now, many of these coins, terminology for those who really want to know, are ERC-20 or ERC-20s. So these ERC-20s or tokens exist on the actual Ethereum network. Now this could be from the ICOs, the initial coin offerings, where people could set up, alright, we're going to run this on the Ethereum network. And if you want to gain in on this token, then you can invest on this token. Now this token will now have a life of its own. So in terms of existence, it's being able to live on the Ethereum blockchain and exist on it. It's no longer Ethereum, but it exists as its own token on the same network. So if there is ever an Ethereum network issue, these tokens would essentially also carry that same roadblock. So what's important is that 2018 is very much looking forward to be the year in which these developments are starting to come out to see the day of light. And this is great for both the adoption rates that are going to be coming in and the way that people are utilizing many of the investments that are already putting their money on. Some of these come from the webbot data in terms of whether you're looking at Very, OMG, PPT, all of these, or even Pillar, are coming in to showcase what they are able to do this year. And already out of the gate, we already got Veritasium already shown off their Vadar systems of being able to mine and harvest and do things in a way that the blockchain really could, and it's highlighting it. And it's not even their main program of doing what they'd wish to do. You have Pillar, who just had their meetings. They just declared and showed off their app of what they want to do of having an all-in-one wallet that can harvest and hold on to all their tokens while also still being able to spend it and send money here and there. So you have the options of your assets. You have Populous, being able to become this passive income, also loan kind of approach, in which allows people to participate by holding their coin. There's a lot of these varying tokens out there. There's thousands and thousands, and some of them are pretty much, crap, but some are going to be pretty much golden eggs. Now, it's I guess anyone who's familiar with clif and a webbot can see that these golden eggs came up ahead of time because they have a lot of emotional value to them. They have a lot of emotional energy on the collective scale attached to them. Be it that they came in first, or they're able to perform great, or they're able to learn and see from it. And at that same time too, being able to have your foot in the door allows you to get up and centered with the people that you want to work with. So if you can put on good show, you can show that what you're doing is what you actually intend to do, you're going to get that crowd going. Now, where we're going to see this is that just recently, Ethereum finally hit that 1K mark, and now we've seen hovering as high as 1,400 coming back down to 1,000, and pretty much finding its own wave as it develops over this period of time. And we're only in the first part of January of this whole coming year ahead. So where this is kind of like signaling is that you're having an influx of people, an influx of assets that are ready to exist on Ethereum. And when you have them on Ethereum, the question is, where do they go from there? Well, that's going to be the tokens. Since they exist on the network, you're going to see aspects like EtherDelta, which is a peer-to-peer exchange that actually exists on Ethereum network, offer these tokens, and people are able to exchange their Ethereum for these tokens, and they can exist inside their own Ethereum wallets and the wallets that do support the ERC-20s. Now, this is majority just like Mu, my Ether wallet, as well as many other wallets out there. So as you're able to host these tokens are going to be yours. They're yours. They're a private key. They're a part of what you have. They're a part of your assets. Now, individually, you can choose to have your own collection of what you want, how much you can get on it. Some of these people who own this got in through the pre-ICOs, got in through the ICOs, got in from a dip, got in during a high. Regardless, they put their assets into this, and now they have a token of the existed token. Now, these tokens exist because there is a limit to some of them, and there's how much, what they can do, and how they can actually be applied to the applications being done by the people who put these tokens out there. That's the whole development cycle of these things. Now, you've had the Ethereum network coming out, and you had a lot of people announcing they're going to do this and that and this and that, and they had their white papers, and they have their goals, and it's been the time for them to work, and it's been going through this year. And now this year is going to be that coming out. You're going to see it come to light, and you're going to see a lot of these applications show off what it means to actually have something on the blockchain. Now, this is a double-edged sword. Being first up to go, you're going to definitely bring a crowd in, but second up, any kind of flaws or any kind of roadblocks that occur along the way are going to be highlighted. Now, this can give a signal for the third generation blockchain developments to take key in what is holding back this network from performing and applying a solution to measure against that. And it very well that there's could be developments out there that could fork the Ethereum network, or in the sense allow an Ethereum attachment that could ultimately solve the problems that come into hand. But for those who remember, late November 2017, the CryptoKitties highlighted the flaw of a large lag on Ethereum network and how much GWI or gas you need to put on to allow the transaction to go through the time span you'd like it to. And if there's so much people on the network and you only have a little gas, it's going to take its time because other people are going to use a higher gas to prioritize their transaction to be on the blockchain. So we're already seeing aspects which can be improved on. And now you have aspects like EOS, NEO, and a lot of these alternatives which can host their own type of distractions. Girl. Their own type of networks which allow for a whole means of being able to say, alright, we've seen what Ethereum done, now we'll have approach and go at what this can do. So whether or not these EOS, NEO, or any of these other blockchains can perform or actually take the spotlight that Ethereum is currently in is really hard to say, especially with the amount of tokens that already exist on Ethereum. So with that, we are now at a point where this is very early into the game, and we're definitely going to see a rise coming towards March. And this whole system coming into play based off webbot data, based off astrology, based off also the patterns that are happening from since cryptos existed, we're seeing various aspects of an influx come in. Now, if Ethereum is leading the gate, you're going to see a lot of tokens pushing Ether. Now, the definition of pushing Ether is up to interpretation. Some see it as that you're pushing the actual price of it. I personally see it that as you're going to buy Ethereum, that price is going to go up, but you're buying Ethereum to go into the tokens. So the interest in the tokens is going to drive the price up, thus pushing it. And as this price gets pushed, you're going to also see the relative proportionate ratio of the worth to Ethereum also go up and travel. We witnessed that in the last week and a half due to the fact that a lot of the tokens have gone up thousands in terms of people's portfolios, even setting some up to be the first millionaires of their own tokens. So this is really a huge effect that is one is playing off the other, but one cannot exist without the other. So it's a give and take. Now this idea of pushing tokens, pushing Ethereum forward is pretty much the interest of the collective coming in to show all of this. This is very important, and this is going to be what is defining why Ethereum wanted to build the network to host stuff on. It's definitely getting that spotlight. It's definitely garnered the attention, and it's very much showing now, of all times, the development in which has been invested is ready to be harvested and shown and given to a public insight. Now you're going to see beta testers, you're going to see all sorts of examples, you're going to be shown off all sorts of examples of technology, examples of applications, examples of ways that it can improve on their own system, as well as the participation of the tokens on the Ethereum network. All of this is going to be highlighted. Whether this is something in the next few months that's going to drive it forward, whatever the case, we're going to have a huge aspect going into what is going to drive cryptos even bigger this year. And it could be that Ethereum tokens are going to be pushing that right out of the gate to drive a lot more people in. And that driving in comes from the self-education that I see from many of the people out there already talking about it, already informing people how to do it, already connecting to people on chats and chat rooms that are able to connect and inform and educate one another so people can make their own decisions in terms of jumping in and being able to actually work with this. This is some great stuff, and where we're heading with it, man, it's going to be one awesome unraveling of things. And where it's going to go, we're going to actually have some new applications that are going to be no different than how we look at Facebook and Google today, being able to offer something by 2018 that it's just like you just sign up, you get on it, you do what you got to do, and it's just instantly being taken in by the collective to say like, hey, do you do this? Or we'll do this transaction this way. Now, it's going to have its own place in the crypto world no differently than Bitcoin can be in a store of wealth, Litecoin could be a store of payment, Ethereum can be a store of applications and networking. There's all sorts of other coins coming into play, just like Digibyte is stepping up its game too. You're going to see all these tokens, all these types of blockchain applications being applied out there into the public. And it's just more of a free of use to gain. So you're able to step into it by your own choice, make your own decisions, become your own bank and security. What you invest in is going to be up to you. It's not a bank telling you got to do this or that. It's not a bank saying you have to hold this and you're going to get this and that. And it's not a bank where you're going to actually have to put your money in, but they get to put like 90% of that out elsewhere through loans or whatever. You're not going to have a flawed system because the system itself is going to be non-stop revolutionized by not only the developments currently happening, but that is going to be coming after that. The inspiration that this will offer will become a key point for the third and fourth generations of blockchain. That stuff I can't even imagine, but it's going to be something that's going to be very worthwhile to see down the line. So where we stand right now is that Ether is coming up on a great price, gaining momentum. And I really do see this as a good point that if you haven't gotten into tokens just yet, that this would be the time. You're going to see the growth, you're going to see the gain, but at the same time too, you're going to see actual developments occur this year. And that is going to be a driving force for people to come in, and that's going to be not only something that will replace the old system, but it's going to revolutionize the way we connect and utilize the technologies such as blockchain. It's pretty awesome, and just trying to wrap your head around it might take you a day or two just to pretty much get it all together, but when you do, it's a great eye-opener for things to go into. So with that, I want to wrap this up before it gets too long. It's been great being able to talk here, and I'm definitely going to continue to try to develop these in less time spans so that I can offer up the expressions that come to me that are needed to be saying so that that potential can live its light of day. I'll be doing more videos, and if you want to stay up to date, I'll have my links and descriptions below. We're still in a pretty much like early format where I'm just giving you the video as is. You can take it. I'll give you that authenticness. Don't mind the birds. There's music slightly playing in the background. I'm not even sure if it's going to be heard on the recording, so do not even worry. Just enjoy and take it in. Use it as a experience of life, whether you can hold on to it, utilize it, or pass it along. It's all up to you. But for you to be here to listen to this, I'd say that's a synchronistic moment. So with that all said, Continue doing what you're doing and stay true the best way you can. And I'll hope to talk to you again next time. Adios, peoples.